Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof! Hi, I am Mike Minotti and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb and I am a Nintendog.
We are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Spoon Heaven Fever has swept the globe. Nintendo had a direct. Everything's expensive. And the Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures, sponsored by the Virtual Boy. Sponsored, I say. JK
We're getting the
Law.
big money. Yeah.
The big money for the Virtual Boy. That's why it costs so much. They're paying us, it turns out. Jeff, here I am. I'm hosting our podcast today with you.
Yeah, man. It's finally. You're just going to do some work here. It's nice to see.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a busy little boy. I hope you had a nice evening. I took a nappy nap.
We got done with the podcast. We had a meeting. What did I do right after that? I think I beat Silksong. Or no, we did a Silksong quick look, and then I did the credits for that right after we got done with that. And then the rest of the evening was kind of like talking to Steph about the state of things, and then getting food. So yeah, but it was still nice. It was nice just to hang out.
Oh, excuse me. I'm choking on the littlest bit of a granola bar I had like 10 minutes ago. All of a sudden, it's finally. Say something. I got.
Yeah, no problem. This will be the last episode where we ever have Mike Minotti on the show. If he doesn't die here from choking, he's just being so unprofessional. We just can't abide this. It's not acceptable. It's not like my voice stopped working in the middle of a podcast today. That would never happen to me.
Okay. I made it. I made it through. I'm alive.
Yay. Well, bad news. You're fired.
It's like people actually you did a bad job today. No one liked it. That's fair. That's fair. I wasn't impressed either. Gosh, yeah. So all this Nintendo stuff. Like it's. I was like, wait, we haven't talked about the direct on Nintendogs yet. It's like, nope, we haven't actually.
Yeah,
that was only Thursday. Feels like
Friday.
forever ago already.
It was Friday, right?
It was Friday.
Yeah. So it's kind of still somewhat fresh news, surprisingly, although it feels old.
That's right. Thursday was 9/11.
Which is also Nintendo news.
No, not Nature Valley, Mikey O'Leary. Right now, the Superchat, I'll stop you right there. Nature Valley, too dry.
Yeah, that would kill you. If you were choking on Nature Valley, there'd be no way to get it out. It would just lodge itself in there with its dry crumbliness.
I eat one of these every morning. I don't know the name. I think it's like Sunbelt or something. They make much softer,
I imagine
chewier ones.
It's a completely white label that just says food. Like for some reason, can't blame me for not knowing the name.
It's just my sludge.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Nutrition.
Ooh, hardened sludge for breakfast.
Whatever gets me back into video
sustenance, calories. That's it.
Okay. It's probably I think it's fucked up that subtitle for that one Metal Gear Solid 3 special edition that they did on PS2 was not sustenance, which is, a name for food, and a key mechanic in that game was eating food. It was subsistence.
Subsistence. Now, isn't that just named after a Joy Division album?
I don't, Jeff, I guess I don't know enough about Joy Division albums to be able to say no definitively, but I feel like that's not the case. I feel like no.
Subsistence, Joy
The act of maintaining or supporting oneself at a minimal level. I mean, that's fitting. That's a fitting thing, I suppose.
Okay, so Joy Division
means.
Joy Division has an album named Substance. I remember that wasn't Kojima having a major Joy Division fan
but Metal Gear
moment?
Solid 2 became Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance when it got
That's what it is. Okay, thank you. There we go.
You Metal Gear Solid ignorant slut.
Yeah, that's fair. But I knew Joy Division was involved somewhere.
Well, we had that for a while. Just like on the PS, people complain about the remaster, sure, but no one really complained very much about Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, a quote unquote definitive version of that game on the same console it came out on. It was wild for Snake Eater because nobody plays Vanilla Snake anymore because that still had a top-down camera, which was really weird in that game. Actually, that game like kind of had an air of negativity around it until Subsistence, in my memory, when they put the camera behind the shoulder.
Yeah, this is like all of these little tidbits are like reasons that I was like missing out on these games while they're happening. First, though, there was like the weird like you're not playing as Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, and I know that sounds so stupid now, but in the moment, it was like this is not what I was expecting. And you know, back then I was talking to a lot more normies who were into Metal Gear, and they were especially butthurt that they weren't playing as Snake. And then you get to the third game, and the conversations were like Shane Bettenhausen defending Metal Gear Solid 3, and everyone else being like, "You idiot, you fool, he messed up, this isn't a good game." And then Subsistence comes out and that flipped the script, but at this point I'm like, wait, what should I be playing? Should I get this one? I don't even know. And I got a little bit lost, so I'm like, I'm just going to ignore it and come back later. And later is 2025 now. I'm gonna still try to play it this year. We'll see.
I mean, I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 3 until well after Subsistence came out. I think I said this recently. I only play it because the wait for Kingdom Hearts 2 was so agonizing for me that I was like, AJ had it, so I was like, all right, I'll just play AJ's copy of Subsistence to help like occupy my time, because I'm still like, I was like a freshman in college in a freaking English degree or professional writing and editing. I had a lot of free time to just sit around thinking about Kingdom Hearts 2. So I just played Metal Gear Solid 3, and actually it was fantastic. So
I don't get when Christian decides when to interrupt and when not to interrupt. This I would want to talk about. You've played the original version of Metal Gear Solid 3 multiple times?
Yeah. Subsistence?
No, not Subsistence.
No.
The original.
There wasn't a Subsistence when I played that game.
Oh, Christian did. It's like, oh, I see. Oh, you only ever played regular Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 multiple times. Okay.
I don't get why people is like, Subsistence is so much better. I'm like, is it? I mean, yes. But it's Metal Gear Solid 3, baby.
I guess
it's like the best game ever made.
Yeah, but I think at the time people were like, this top-down camera is terrible for these larger open areas. You can't, you constantly had to do a thing where you would peek around cameras or peek around corners and then go into first. Like you can go into first-person view still. And I think people were snapping into first-person view constantly just to see if anybody was actually in front of them.
Yeah, it's not that bad. People like you should try a regular Metal Gear Solid. It's not that. It's like people painted like it was so bad. Regular and then Subsistence came out and now it's good. It's not that.
There was definitely a lot of complaints at the time. There was definitely a lot of conversation about the camera being funky, and although I guess this carried over to Subsistence to some degree, but the button combinations you had to do to do certain things, people didn't love that.
Yeah. I know that now because back in the day I didn't know shit because I wasn't like paying attention to anything that was going on. But
why would you pay attention to what the U.S. media was saying about Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, it's another Christian failure.
I remember only caring about E3, and it wasn't even possible for me to like watch it not live, but like get the update. I just had to wait for a magazine to talk about it like 2 months after it happened. That's how I got my news, you know.
This is a Nintendo podcast, and we're not talking about the 3DS version of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Hey, 3DS.
Which is wild that happened, by the way. All right.
I wonder if Delta will go on Switch too. It probably will, right?
I don't know why not, except that sometimes doesn't happen. Maybe it can't be optimized, but it seems like a game that should be fine for that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Hey, you're an old fuck.
Yeah.
You piece of shit.
So
Are you excited for the Virtual Boy?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
Me too. It's okay.
It's like so the TikTok, or not the Instagram reel went pretty big. Good job, Sean. He got that up like right away of us reacting to that. And there's a handful of people in there that get it, and there's a handful of people that are like, this is bad. Why are these old men excited? And it's like,
there's been a good amount of people getting mad at us this week for liking things. Some people are mad that we like Silksong too much.
Oh hell, that rules.
Yeah,
all right, very good.
Go. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's like the youngins don't seem to understand. It's like, look, there is some irony, but also I'm legitimately excited because I don't care if things are bad, if they spark joy the way the Virtual Boy, like there was a time in my life where the Virtual Boy was one of the most anticipated things I had ever experienced. I was so excited for it. And then it comes out and crashes and burns. Well, that makes it interesting. It makes it like this weird cultural alternative timeline that could have happened. And now Nintendo, who has shunned the thing, for forever, for 30 goddamn years, is now re-embracing it so they can sell us $100 piece of plastic and optics. And that's okay. That's a reason not to like it, but I can't help it. I'm excited. I want it so bad, Mike.
Oh yeah, I have fondness for the Virtual Boy because it was, like you said, first I was actually interested in it, and then it became a fascinating failure. But look, like the way everybody's like, who could possibly care about this thing? Nintendo still made video games for this thing. There are Nintendo games on here, and of course, it doesn't have the library of a Game Boy. Or even the library of a Wii U. There's some good games on there, and then there's a lot of curiosities, like that Wario Land game. For a long time, people have said it's a shame that thing is just completely stuck on the Virtual Boy. It's like they're never going to acknowledge it again. Now that you're going to be able to play that, I think that's really neat. I like that Mario Tennis, that pinball game. Teleboxer is a weird curiosity. I like
fun.
Mario.
It's fun. Teleboxer's fun.
Mario Clash is this kind of weird, different take on arcade Mario Brothers. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting Jack Brothers. We're getting that, which is this like top-down kind of Zelda-y take on Shin Megami Tensei, and it was the first game in that series we ever got over here. So there's actually going to be fun software on here. But you're right, that's not even necessarily the point. I just love that they are doing something this unhinged, if you want to say it, but interesting and weird. I mean, look, if it was like digital Eclipse is like we're doing a Virtual Boy collection for some reason, I think everyone would think that's neat.
And, that would be awesome.
Here it is.
Yeah, that would be. God, I hope Nintendo lets them do that one day.
Explain what they're doing, because you should start like Japping.
Okay.
How cool the Virtual Boy is.
So the Virtual Boy is a head-mounted display of sorts from 1995-96 that Nintendo put out as like a alternative successor to the Game Boy. It was supposed to be kind of portable. It took batteries, I guess. I don't know if anyone ever used batteries. That'd be crazy. Anyway, it could only display images using its red LEDs. It had red LEDs on the screen, and Nintendo is going to recreate that effect and that experience by putting out a pair of optical devices, one that just looks like a Virtual Boy, the other one being a cardboard sort of fold together thing that you could slide the Switch Switch 2, right? Or is it both?
Just Switch 2.
Just Switch 2?
Or is it? It's this expansion pass. I'm forgetting now.
Yeah, I think it might be both, and it's on expansion pass, so the $50 tier. You slide the Switch in.
Only the Switch 2 can handle the technical prowess.
Yeah.
It's a premium game for premium gamers.
Anyway, once you have it in one of these devices, the Virtual Boy games will function at that point, and then you get to see the 3D games, the 3D effects. And back then, it was like two screens showing you slightly different perspectives. So it was like a real depth effect that it worked back then, but it was awkward and cumbersome and bad in a lot of ways that really mattered, which is why it immediately failed. But Nintendo.
There's also a big scare at the time about giving people eye cancer. That part wasn't true.
No. But, Was it legitimately eye cancer people were worried about?
I forget if that just became the meme or just
made him in the meme.
Eye problems. But I remember hearing about eye cancer, I swear. I remember at least hearing that.
The thing is, those stereoscopic devices like that and the 3DS are pretty good for people that have like a lazy eye or whatever like that. If you want to get your eyes more in line. Emmy practiced on the 3DS for quite some time when she was struggling with that when she was younger. And it made a big difference. So a Virtual Boy probably was not hurting people, although it did cause headaches for sure.
Yeah, it was, I had a Virtual Boy, and it was a weird thing to be in for a long time. It was also pretty neat. I thought it was, I didn't take home the Virtual Boy, try it, and be like, well, this obviously sucks. It is going to be a big failure. I was a kid. I thought it was another cool toy that I had.
Yeah, it was such a weird tech. It was in a weird place too. It just happened at this time that it probably should not have. They should not have tried it then. But they had most of the tech. The red LEDs that they were using that had been around for a long time. They weren't using an LCD screen. LCD basically is would be liquid crystals that sort of go over a white light and then add sort of filters on top to do different looks and whatever. That wouldn't have worked in something where you had your eyes up so close. So they had the LEDs, but blue LEDs, the reason it wasn't a color LED screen is because blue LEDs were only invented effectively for consumer use 5 years before this. They had just happened basically. And so it would have been $10,000 to make a Virtual Boy that had a color screen. So Nintendo's just fuck it. Game Boy is just black and white. That's doing just fine. In fact, it was going to do better over the next 5 years than it had ever done before.
Yeah. The heady days for the Game Boy were ahead of it still with Pokemon.
And so the Nintendo's looking around being like, we'll keep it cheap and we'll put this thing out there and then give people a stand and force them to put their face in it. It was a bad idea, but I loved it. I really thought it was cool. My friend had one. I never had one. I loved using it all the time.
Now, some people are upset about the pricing. $25 for that cardboard version. $25 for cardboard. I don't know. $100 for that physical thing, which again seems to pretty much just be a shell.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they're both going to have the optics in it, so that's going to be like where the cost is at. So these lenses so when you're going to put the screen in up close, you're going to jam your face in, and then they're going to try to blow up the little images that are side by side on the screen using the lenses to feed them into your eyes. It's still way overpriced, and at the same time, a Kirby riding the little thing amiibo is $50 because tariffs are still messing with these things. That doesn't justify the price. This still sucks. Nintendo trying to get away with something here, absolutely. But we were talking about it, and when we were guessing the price. And Bacalar was saying 100, and that's where I was at first. And I'm like, maybe they'll do 70. They can't be that crazy. And so when it was 100, it's like, okay, I was wrong, but I'm not surprised.
Let's talk some more about prices then, because this was a big takeaway for a lot of people from the Direct. Like you said, these amiibos are pretty expensive. Those Kirby ones, you can kind of swap out the rider and the ride on those. That's going to be $50. The new most expensive amiibo to date. I think those things look neat. They're not that neat. There's a lot of $40 amiibos, like these new kind of bigger Super Mario Galaxy themed ones. There's a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond one where, there's a $30 one, but there's also one where Samus is on that new motorcycle thing. That's $40. And may I remind you, Metroid Prime Remaster costs $40.
Yes. That's
so,
it's weird, just weird to see okay, first of all, it's like, man, at what point do they just stop doing amiibo? But people keep buying these things. I think they're just playing chicken a little bit, being like, these things are getting more expensive for us to produce and to ship and to send around the world, and especially to the United States. And the fervor has died down, but clearly they have just locked in a huge number of people who feel the need to get every single one of these. But I say that, and then people point out some of the more recent amiibos. They came out at higher prices, and now you can get them for half price. So the demand's not that crazy for them. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't care about these things, so it's hard for me to judge what's going on here.
The newer ones were those Street Fighter 6 amiibos, which those always seem neat. But I can't imagine the typical amiibo audience has a giant appetite for oversized Street Fighter 6 characters. They're gonna want the Mario Galaxy ones, Kirby, Metroid, even I imagine more than
that's a good
Street Fighter. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Now, Marino says the Tears of the Kingdom ones dropped to 20 from 30. So, yeah. I mean, but Nintendo's also we'll start at a higher price, and then if the retailers need to drop them later, so be it. People are pointing out the Virtual Boy in Canada is equivalent to about $80 US, and it's equivalent to about 80 euros in Europe. So that would be $90-ish dollars, maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. The other kind of a price thing here is, they announced that Mario Galaxy 2 is coming to the Switch 2 finally. It'll be available separately for $40 or part of a bundle with the first Mario Galaxy, also for $40 separately. You get them together for $70. Before we talk about this package, this is another price thing. This is the one, Jeff. All the other ones I do get, and I get this one a little bit. I don't know. I get it in the fact that, hey, this game cost $50 when it came out back in the day. But boy, that was a different time when they were making $50 Wii games, and it was their most, their premium games were premium gamers. Guys, that's a Randy Pitchford joke if you don't know what I'm talking about. If you missed that whole thing also. Got to really stay tuned in to understand what we're talking about.
If you want to keep up with Mikey's references, you need to be more plugged in.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? So, yeah, I mean, this one's a little hard for me, Jack, because I get it, but it's also, I'm going to obviously pay $40 for Super Mario Galaxy 2. I'm not even going to think about that for a moment. And this isn't, I think some of it is, it's either Nintendo is hurting themselves by not talking about what exactly this version is. They do it a little bit, but they aren't calling it like Super Mario Galaxy 2 HD or remastered. It just says Super Mario Galaxy 2 on there. So some people are like, so what? They just put a ISO file or a ROM on this thing. There are going to be some, there's, of course, there's a resolution improvement. It's going to have the new control stuff. There's going to be a mouse mode even supported on both of these things. But I don't know. How are you feeling about this Galaxy situation?
Yeah, I mean, everything you said about the price and that you're going to still get it and you're not going to think twice about it, it applies to me as well. It stinks to be the suckers constantly for this because a lot of people want to listen to the show like this and be as mad as I am about these things. And at the very least, like, I understand, like, these prices are going up. This sucks. $70 for both these games can feel a little bit painful. But I have to admit, I'm going to buy this package. I want to have these games in the slightly upgraded form. I'm playing a video right now so people can kind of see. It's a noticeable upgrade. It's not some massive improvement. It does feel like optimizations likely made inside of an emulator. And I guess what I think when I see that is, well, at least they're doing something here, and that will help me justify to myself the $70. I'm going to get the $70 version. I'm going to get the combo there. And these games are really, really, really good. They're really good. And I wasn't thinking that we'd ever get Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch or Switch 2. I thought they would just continue being like, it's a little difficult. I'm curious to see what the solution is for Yoshi's Tongue, but I'm sure they must have something. It couldn't have been that hard.
That's a sentence. What's the solution for Yoshi's Tongue?
What? It's probably not, that one's probably not a new sentence. They've probably said that inside Nintendo before.
That's not the first time anyone's ever said that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm just watching this thing of Galaxy 2 you're playing on our stream now, and
it's from Good Vibe Gaming, just so people can get the credit there. Yeah.
It just, I don't know, that just immediately sparks so much joy for me. I mean,
you can see the text. Yeah. The textures are like definitely improved. They're zooming in a little bit to show that off. But I don't know. It's not a huge difference.
It's a bit of a Nintendo tax for sure. Is it that different from that Gears of War Reloaded we got, which isn't that much better than a remaster they did recently, and that's $40, right?
Yeah, but just so you don't get yelled at, the difference there is if you had already owned the last remaster, you got that one for free. So
that's crazy.
Nintendo not doing that with Super Mario Galaxy.
No, they should do that for people who own the 3D All-Stars version of this game.
They should, right? But Nintendo won't. So that's our difference here. Is Nintendo?
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Always gets away with them. They are maximally focused on what they can get away with, and they're doing it again here.
Right. I mean, yeah, I definitely understand the frustration of, boy, Nintendo knows they can get away with a lot, and they sure do like getting away with it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's good money. Getting away with stuff is good money, and they have built up the goodwill of being your video gaming best friend, and they're cashing in on that constantly. Now, I would argue that they have earned that to a certain degree by putting out games that people really like, and putting out and like making the kinds of games and focusing on the characters that people like. Eventually that does run out, and I think you see some people like being like, man, this Nintendo, especially with the recent patent, being like, I'm just feeling kind of sour about them. Nintendo's not impervious. They've been low before, and if they come crashing down, like we find out like in a few years, the Switch 2 never did catch back on with the mainstream because everyone was just like, I had a Switch and that was fun while it lasted, but I'm not paying more money for a lot of games that look pretty similar. Nintendo could be in a place where it's like, and now a lot of core gamers are feeling pretty shitty about them because they had so much hubris. And Nintendo might go back to sort of a GameCube sort of era. Now, maybe that's far-fetched, but if I were them, I would be a little bit more soft-handed in my approach to pricing, just because it feels so transparent what they're after right now, which is just getting as much nickels and dimes as they can from their most hardcore audience, and that stinks.
Yeah, I mean, reputations, those things can happen if Nintendo has come across as cheap, and if that penetrates that mainstream market, and that is something that mainstream market does care about. They care about the price of things. They will notice that. You saw the price of eggs went up there. That was the talking point in this country for a while. So things like $40 amiibos or $40 ports of Wii games, like that can eventually pick up people. I don't think it's going to be Galaxy 2 because a lot of people are just going to see a $70 Mario game on store shelves. They're not going to think too hard about that one. But yeah, like it's, there's going to be other ways. Even though it's just $10, that $10 and Switch 2 welcome tour stood out a lot because that was kind of crazy to ask a price for that thing.
Yeah.
Which could have obviously been a pack-in.
I think just real quick before we move on, I think Nintendo continues to do one smart thing here, and that is when it can price things in other countries lower, so it's clear that's about the tariffs. And then how critical can we really be? It's like how much of this is what Nintendo can get away with, and how much is it the tariffs? And the reality is it's always both. Like both things factor in heavily, but it's just Nintendo can just be like, look, this is the economic reality, and we're dealing with it. And what do you say to that?
That's a good point, Jay Arthur. I do think Donkey Kong Country Returns being $60. That seems more egregious to me than $40 for Sunshine 2, honestly. Even though Donkey Kong Country Returns technically, I guess, had more obvious improvements to it.
Yeah, but it was done by that poor house. That's kind of a little bit.
It wasn't great.
Yeah,
it wasn't a great
great
port or anything like that. But okay, so like all that side, I'm pretty stoked we are getting Galaxy 2. I didn't think we would ever see it on the Switch, or I was getting worried it just wouldn't be a thing. I like those Galaxy games a ton. I haven't played Galaxy 2 in a while because I don't have my Wii U or my Wii plugged in very much, and it's just an all-timer. It's so freaking fun. So I'm gonna be playing the heck out of that when it comes out.
And I think that's what it like really is for me too, is where it's like, I want this on my Switch, so I'm ready to pay. If you just want to play these games, Google Dolphin. Just go do it. Just go play it if you want to play these games. No, like you've been able to do this whole time, and you don't have to buy this game if you don't want to. Like it's that simple, and you can get probably a lot of the same kind of upgrades that Nintendo's doing for this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. We aren't gonna judge you.
Yeah.
All right. There was a lot of news at that direct. Let's go over it here because we talked about this. We live watched it. We talked about some other places, but just to kind of catch base, see how we're feeling. Because Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we were really hoping we would get a release date. Here it is, December 4th. We kind of talked about what windows this game could come out in. This early December always seemed like a good possibility. Mm-hmm. Well, here it is. It looks great. They kind of showed off this new motorcycle feature. I almost called her Zelda. Samus driving around kind of a more open desert area for a moment before landing in a more traditional Metroid area. I thought it looked super hot. Yeah, God, we're going to be playing this game in just a few months. No Metroid Prime 2 or 3 Remastered. That stream seems practically dead unless there's some kind of Metroid Direct or something and they announce it. But speaking of, Dolphin, I'm ready to go with that Prime hack thing that lets you play those games with mouse and keyboard controls. I was waiting for Nintendo to explain to me how I could buy 2 and 3
You had your money earmarked for it. Yeah, ready to go. Yeah.
Games I have bought in a couple times before, and I was like, please tell me when to buy them again, and they didn't. So yeah, I'm just going to use Prime Hack for that.
And Prime Hack, the keyboard and mouse controls are amazing, but you can also get that on Steam Deck with controller. It's great. It's just dual stick analog first person shooter controls, and that is an awesome thing. And Prime Hacks is for people don't know, a separate fork of Dolphin that handles Metroid Prime trilogy specifically. It's very cool.
Guys, I am so sorry because it's not calling anyone out specifically in chat, but I see it every time I bring this game up. I am always shocked that there's some people in chat are like, I don't know about this one, and I feel like I live on a different planet because every time I see this game, I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. People with anxiety should be feeling good now, and they I don't know. People are some people just don't seem convinced about Metroid Prime 4.
Can you fucking believe that the desert has a bunch of fucking sand? That shit is insane, bro.
Just pretend that you're playing one of those games from the Abzu people or something. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I like we were talking about it. It's always the anxieties of just you waited so long and you're looking at something and something sticks out, and it's so easy to extrapolate and listen to that part of your brain that's worried that this doesn't look perfect, so it's time to freak out.
Right.
It happens to me all the time. I get it. But I'm definitely at a point now where I've been through it enough times to be to recognize I'm just going to wait to play the game and I'll judge then. And then a lot of times what happens is these people are pleasantly surprised and they never think about those thoughts they had before the game was out ever again. It never even occurs to them again that they were ever worried about the game.
Oh no, I just it's like, oh, the motorcycle stuff doesn't look great. I'm just looking at the trailer. I'm like, it looks cool.
Fucking awesome.
I'm doing the same. I'm looking like, it's doing the Akira slide attack shit.
Just going off a ramp and it's raining and it looks really good. And there's like a lightning flash. Yeah, doing a Kira slide. You're shooting missiles while you're on the motorcycle. I don't know.
Why do people
I'm
keep
a
saying
smidge
Recore?
confused.
Is it because they saw sand?
I think it's because they saw sand.
Like, that's not what caused Recore's problems, right, everybody?
It's the sand. Wait a second. Is it Anakin Skywalker?
Did Anakin do this? Listen,
This
just
is
because
Anakin
one man has an opinion doesn't mean you have to listen to it.
Driving this sentiment, spilling into it. Okay, so Marina says everyone knows Recore. And people just haven't stopped talking about Recore.
Yeah,
That's the issue.
that's right.
Is that Recore is still dominating the gamer consciousness.
Everything is like a Recore. We get it now. Jesus. We'll play another game, games journalists.
Here's a good one. Dylan's Rolling Western. That's the other reference here. Getting a lot of Recore vibes. Why is Recore such a funny game?
It's really funny. Holy
It's the
shit.
funniest 7 out of 10 of all time.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. It's not a very good game.
Yeah, God, I really wish we had infinite time because I would love to do All Right Club and play Recore and just be like, yeah.
It would be like the poster child of All Right Club, right? Freaking Recore.
Man.
All right. Other things here. New Fire Emblem was announced. This is kind of the one last thing this time. Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave. We were all expecting a remake for one of the Super Famicom games. We never got here. Nope. Brand new Fire Emblem game. Kind of has a bit of a like Roman Colosseum vibe going on. It seems connected with Three Houses somehow. There's a familiar character who showed up during it.
The dragon lady that was in your head that talked to you in Three Houses, right? That was Three Houses where she was in. Her voice actress and a character that played a character that looks a lot like that character, but a different age. I think she was younger in your head. Here, so she's a little bit older. Or at least old. She appears older because she's a dragon. She's thousands of years old, I believe, even in Three Houses, and her age can change very. I was talking to Rachel Kaiser about this on Monday on Game this morning. So she's a huge Fire Emblem fan, so she was explaining it to me, and she got the sense of like they are probably going to draw a direct connection to Three Houses, but it also could be like very vague, or this character could just be similar with the same voice actress. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like Three Houses sequel, and characters from that game are going to show up. I don't think it's that, but you look at this thing, and it just kind of it gives you more Three Houses vibes than Engage, a game that I think both of us really liked the gameplay of. It was the best, like the tactics I've ever actually felt, but tonally just kind of felt off. Story was pretty bad. Characters weren't great. Art direction had just gone too far in certain directions. This seems like it's pulling things back in a certain way, but still looks very nice, very flashy. It's definitely its time. They like to do Fire Emblem even a bit more frequently than other franchises. We got 2 of those on the Switch One. People do like those games a lot, even if Engage was a little bit of a not high point for this series.
How many
People
did we get on 3DS? We got Awakening and Fates?
We got a bunch. We got Awakening, we got Fates, which technically had 3 parts, and that remake of the second Fire Emblem was called Fire Emblem Gaiden. So lots of them on 3DS. It was that was the rebirth, right, with Awakening. Since then, they've been going. I guess the only surprise to me is that I thought a remake would have been slotted in between.
There was also with Echoes, right? Echoes is a whole.
That's the remake.
That's the remake. Okay.
That's the remake of Gaiden, right?
That's
Shadows
right.
of Valentia.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. So there it is. And then technically there was also a down port of Fire Emblem Warriors on the 3DS. We had that on the Switch as well.
Yeah,
so.
man. I kind of want to go see that 3DS version of that.
Yeah. But I am, and I'm looking at this video again. It's like, yeah, I'm ready for some Fire Emblem. Absolutely. I'm curious to see. I think everybody kind of likes where the tactics gameplay is, where people are a bit more suspicious, is that in-between stuff. Some of it seems like they have kind of gotten carried away with it a bit. I don't know if I think they're going to pull back from that. They might just do it a little differently. And I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. Are you going to be running around this kind of Roman-esque city? Are you just going to be hanging out in like the Colosseum barracks? What's going to be kind of the gimmicky thing here? In Three Houses, you were, the teacher, so you're basically like running classes. And Awakening, of course, you're playing matchmaker and have these people marry each other. So what is that going to look like this time? But yes, there it is. Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave. I don't It has a 20.
God, it looks really
26
nice. It looks
release
really good.
window. Only Switch 2. So that is, that, I guess my question is like, this probably isn't the only this big 2026 game. Of course, this is one of the big ones. We might not see it even until summer or fall, but there's going to be some other stuff we're going to be hearing about here.
Yeah, I bet we get this like summer at the latest is probably for this game. They did say that Tomodachi Life is early next year. God, I can't remember if they gave an exact date for that or a month, but they definitely said early next year. We haven't heard about Rhythm Heaven, but that's probably also like springish. And then this I could see like June, and then by then they have a whole other set of games set up for next holiday. So yeah, I'm just, the more I watch this trailer, the more I'm like, God, it looks so good. Like even those tertiary characters there, the other NPCs looked great, and the Battlefield looks a lot like Fire Emblem, but that's fine as well. I'm into it. Yeah, I'm ready to see more.
It is interesting how Nintendo has really gotten away from announcing games. Anything like, they're not doing like, oh, this game's coming out in 2 years, we're announcing it now. That rarely happens anymore. Metroid Prime 4 is so interesting for that. Giant games like Donkey Kong Bonanza getting announced just a few months before it's coming out now. So there very well could still be giant games coming in 2026, multiple of them that we just aren't going to hear about until they are 6, 7, 8 months out from releasing. All right, a couple other things here. There is DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I haven't rushed out to get that. I'm not a big DLC guy, but this is like it's adding. You can go to DK Island. It's not some brand new zone necessarily full of objectives, but you can go there, and there's a new roguelike mode thing. So there's that.
I'm interested. I bought it. I will try it. I like DK Bonanza a lot, and I like roguelikes a lot. We'll see.
Mario Galaxy Movie, that is the sequel to the Mario movie, and yes, so we are getting some Galaxy stuff there. There's a very short teaser trailer. We saw Illuma. We heard a little bit of that Mario Galaxy title music. There's a part that's like, oh, we're doing this already, and it's like, of course we're doing this already. They're not going to hold back. So,
no, they're ready to go.
Excuse me. That's April 3rd. April 3rd, that will release next year. We saw some more of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That's November 6th, so that got a release date as well. This really did flesh out the rest of the schedule if there's any question mark.
And it's all those slots we were talking about, early November, something in December. Yeah, here we are. We got dates in all those spots. And
it's, things are filling up pretty nicely because you have that November 6th. Later in November is when you get Kirby Air Riders. We'll have Hades 2 in just a bit over a week here for Switch 1, because that's 1.0 release got announced for September 25th for the digital version. The physical is not till November 12th. Pokemon Legends, the base game comes out October 16th, but also the DLC just already got announced for this thing. It's going to have like a new Hyperspace Lumios area. This is in a Mega Raichu. This is the Mega Dimensions DLC. It's a little confusing that they announced this DLC already. I think Sean was right when he was talking on Bombcast that this is just a timing thing because there's not going to be a big Pokemon Presents to talk about this in the future. So just talk about this thing right now.
I think he also said, and I think he's right about this as well, that it's about sort of setting expectations for what this game is. I think they do want people thinking of it a little bit as like a equivalent to a mainline Pokemon game, the kind of thing that does get big DLC, like for every single one of those entries. And I think they're just trying to set it up right away. Like, yeah, this is one of those, and we're going to have support for it long term. So show up and get into it. And at the same time, they can charge a lot. People will buy both right away, right when the game launches, and they'll probably spend money on the DLC. They'll be more likely to spend money on the DLC in that moment than maybe any other moment. So having it ready to go is a practical business decision.
Mario Tennis Fever, brand new Mario Tennis game. This one releases on February 12th. Going to have a adventure mode with seems to revolve around the baby version characters, including baby Waluigi for the first time.
Yep,
let's go.
I think this game looks really solid. It looks really look big and colorful and like a full-on Mario sports game with the adventure mode where the baby characters are going around doing stuff and solving problems with tennis, which is, I think, what I want short of a real Camelot RPG from the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. The problems with these games are never the gameplay. It's always everything around it and maybe the presentation, and I just hope they can get that stuff right Give us an online tournament mode that's like really easy and works really well. I just hope they nail this one.
Mario Wonder is getting a Switch 2 edition and an expansion, Bella Bell Park Meetup. This one's coming out next spring. It mostly is focused around multiplayer challenges, though sounds like there are going to be some new levels too. But, the Bella Bell Park Meetup, not exactly sounding like the super hardcore, intense, extra bonus challenge level pack that maybe I was hoping for. But still, this does look fun.
Yeah, I kind of wish it went this way where it's like, we got the game. A few months later, they had free DLC that was the super extreme hard levels. And then we got this if they wanted to charge for this later, whatever. But absent those really difficult levels, it's like, man, Wonder just feels like it's missing something still, even when it gets this. I love the multiplayer stuff, so I'm all in on this, and we'll make you guys play with me, and that'll be great. But it's still not exactly what I think this game needs.
Also, they're going to announce one of those Flowey are they called Flowey? One of those talking flowers. No, Flowey is from Undertale. Actually,
Flowey. Oh, is that really a character from Undertale? Okay.
Yes, that's a character from Undertale. I get it.
I played that game. I don't remember any of those characters.
There's a toy version of that talking flower. The commercial was funny because they show somebody interacting with it, and then it says, not an interactive toy. It's literally that scene from Toy Story where Buzz Lightyear's watching the commercial of him, and it's like he's flying. It's like, not a flying toy. But still, I like those talking flowers. I think they're funny. This one was a little bit out of left field. Pokemon Pokopia 2026. This one's coming out. This is a cozy life sim game starring a Ditto who takes on the form of a human, but it's but still with the Ditto face. So it's it's one of these. You kind of are farming. Everything is sort of made of blocks. You're crafting a block of dirt to get a thing of dirt in your pocket. It's one of those dirt pocket games, So hey, interesting to see Pokemon's own take on it. I like that they're already being weird with it. They could have just done, you're a human and your Pokemon your friends and you're doing farming stuff. I like that you're a Ditto for some reason. That's neat.
It's a weird choice and I'm all for it. I'm with you. I'm glad they're being weird. People are pointing out Dragon Quest Builders developers are working on this. People love those Dragon Quest Builders games. Yeah. I always meant to play either of them, but eventually I was like, man, I should really play that second one. People seem to love it. Well, I'll try this, and maybe in the meantime, I'll give 2 a try.
I was going to do this now because you said it. Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, February 5th. This is the one you kept telling me is happening, and I was like, I don't get it. But no way. Oh, that's real. There's a remake of Dragon Quest 7.
And all the reasons you said they wouldn't do it, they addressed those one way or the other. They were like, yeah, we're going to make it a kind of a shorter game, faster paced, and all that stuff.
And they have a very neat art style for this one.
It looks
which
so
is,
cool.
Right, because we've seen the HD 2D stuff for the older games, but this was a PS1 game that was pixel-based back then, and then has been remade in more traditional 3D on the 3DS. That remake wasn't that long ago. That's part of the reason why I was a little confused by this. But no, it's being remade again. The graphics look very nice. The art style looks great. And I'm curious what they mean by making it pacier. So even though I myself don't have a ton of appetite to play through Dragon Quest VII again, a game that I played through on that 3DS version not that long ago, and it is very long. So curious what other people are going to think about this one. Last big kind of thing from Nintendo, they did announce a new Yoshi game, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. This is spring 2026. Very much in that kind of Yoshi story style. It's very, has a very nice looking art style, kind of, painterly, watercolory. It has a lot of the Yoshi's Island mechanics and stuff still, 2D game. And it still has a bit of that Yoshi, like, this is clearly marketed towards kids, and that's fine. They can have a series for kids. I am just old and remember Yoshi's Island too much, Jeff. That's my problem.
Yep, same. I have a certain strong affinity for Yoshi's Island, where it's like when I was playing that, it was one of the best games I had ever played, so it's really important to me, and every time this series comes up, that's still the anchor for me, and they have moved. They've made it very clear where this series is supposed to be and who it's really targeted at. And this game looks 1,000,000% like another one of those in terms of its mechanics and gameplay. Yoshi sort of just kind of clumping along and discovering things with the flower guy on his back here. And not a lot of threats on the screen in any of these scenes, really, for the most part. It's adorable. It looks amazing. I think my kids might really like it. I just hope that I find something there to enjoy. It's not impossible to make a game like this that I find something worthwhile in. It's just the Yoshi games have usually not done that since Yoshi's Island.
All right, so that's the big stuff. There's some third-party things. We're getting a Resident Evil Requiem, not the Resident Evil game I was expecting them to talk about. This is the new one. That's coming out on Switch 2 day and date with the other versions on February 27th. And alongside with that, Switch 2 is getting native ports of Resident Evil 7 and Village, not cloud versions, all releasing around the same time, which is a little bit of a bummer. I would have liked to maybe see what 7 looked like on the Switch 2, and nothing about any of the remake games that they have done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that Requiem is already there, I think that's smart on Capcom. Capcom seems, part of it is I think they've been given access by Nintendo. I think that's one of the few companies Nintendo was happy to give a lot of developer kits to, but they seem to be very proactive about getting their stuff on Switch 2.
Yeah, and all 3 games of this trilogy launching on the same day is a bit of a bummer, but whatever. These games coming to Switch 2 is really cool to see. And then to me that says late next year we get Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4, or at most maybe a year later, so sometime in early 2027. That's a bit of a wait, but I don't really expect that. I think by next October we're playing Resident Evil 4 on the Switch 2, and I bet it runs great on there. I really want to see that.
Yeah, that's a lot of the big stuff there. So it was a long direct, an hour longer than usual. I saw a lot of stuff that made me happy. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond looks great. New Fire Emblem. Mario Galaxy 2. Hades 2 getting its 1.0 release date. Right, so I definitely had plenty of stuff in there that I am interested in. And then the complete unhingedness of Virtual Boy had me freaking out like crazy. So there you go.
Yep, I thought it was a really solid direct. A lot of stuff for me specifically. And even I'm just glad to see more Wonder. Is it exactly what I wanted? No, but I'll take it. And there was a lot of stuff like that where it's like the Donkey Kong DLC. I think all of those things kind of do bring up the pricing issue. $20 for the DK DLC is a lot. It doesn't feel great after just paying $70 to buy that game. I bought that video game with my own money, and now I'm like, they want 20 more. Well, I already gave them 20 more, so now I've spent $90 on that game. It's not great to say out loud, and that's definitely a trend for Nintendo. We'll see if they can sort of withstand it and get through it as they start reaching to more casual gamers here this holiday.
Do you still think Animal Crossing is like the really big game next year?
Yeah.
There's a part of me that thinks, and this is just pattern based, because the year 2 game for Nintendo consoles a lot of the time is Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
maybe it's Smash Brothers.
Yeah, if they have if they have an answer for what Smash on Switch 2 should be, and they're getting it ready, that makes even more sense, because that's the one that really just everyone buys Smash. Everybody buys it. So it is a good year 2 game for it. Animal Crossing just lined up in terms of the timeline, but that could easily be an early 2027 game. That would be perfect for them, because then even more people already have the system, and that's a game that can benefit from that.
Well, it's just Smash Ultimate, but with Donkey Kong has his overalls now, right? Don't even give him the new face. They just put the clothes on him from freaking Bonanza.
I'd buy it.
All right, that's it for the news right now. We'll take a quick break. Come back. We got some super chats that we're going to do Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures. That'll be fun. So stick around, everybody. All right, we're back. Well, conveniently got a little something there. We're back. David Arline with the first super chat here. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Says, I would like to thank the Browns for getting rid of Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I'll never understand that one.
Me neither. I was not paying a lot of attention at the time, Mike, but I was like, man, the last time I was looking, Baker Mayfield was tearing things up in Cleveland. And then it felt like 6 weeks later, well, that's the worst quarterback that has ever lived. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he had the slightest bit of an off period.
I mean, that's how it goes in the NFL with quarterbacks, and Cleveland's hardly the only team guilty of that. I didn't get it. Obviously, it was just completely broken. It was never going to repair itself.
It was weird, and it was I don't know. We're so unused to having charismatic, nice people on our team or something that the fact that he was in a lot of commercials, people took that negatively. Some people, they're like, this guy,
he's capable of being a spokesperson.
This guy thinks he's a star. Doesn't he know he plays for the Cleveland Browns? Some people were weirded out by it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. People actually know the name of our quarterback. So it was, got rid of him for Deshaun Watson, which was atrocious. And,
Oh my God.
Permanently damaged my relationship with this team.
One of the worst front office decisions in the history of sports. It was crazy.
I'm glad we have Flacco playing now. I do like the guy. I wish we had Mayfield. It was insanely stupid.
Yep, Baker's great.
Pappy Wappy says, just want to share that I recently made a huge breakthrough with therapy, and you guys played a pivotal role in keeping me sane till this point. Thank you. You're welcome, Pappy Wappy.
Yeah.
I was it the apples? Did you finally stop eating those? Is that what's helping? That's what I bet it is.
Yeah, glad we were able to keep you on the straight and narrow. I don't know how we did, but I'm happy to hear it, Pappy.
Oh, more for Pappy Wappy. Also, if anyone out there feels like their brain is broken and they grew up in a hoarding household, that's probably the source of all your pain. That makes sense. Boy, when there's that hoarder show, I would never watch it, but I would see clips, and it really would look like one of the worst things ever. Just seeing it made me so viscerally unhappy and sad.
It looks like trauma. It looks like trauma has been manifested. I get it. Yep.
Happy for you, Pappy Wappy. You keep on keeping. That's what people say. Keep on keeping over there, buddy.
Yep.
Lasager says, salutations, K9s. Currently at home with my 2-week-old daughter. She's our second, but the jump from 1 to 2 has been a lot. Thank you both and the whole GB crews for the content and laughs. It helps to keep me going. Congratulations, Lysager. Jeff, when you went from 1 to 2, was that a difficult transition for you?
Yep. Yes, it was. It was really rough. It's one thing with one kid, and then 2, it's like everything's not just twice as hard. It's like infinitely as hard because now there's literally not enough time in the day to do everything, and there is no real off time because they always sort of find ways to like one of them needs one now, and then as soon as that's taken care of, the other one needs the exact same thing. It's really challenging. It's not like when you only have one kid and you get that parental leave and you get to play games for like 3 months and it's real easy because they just lay there. It's like now you got one running around and one laying there. It's a ton of work. Good luck with it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm actually already at that point where I miss my very young kids. They're still really young, but it's like, man, I'm never going to have that again. And I'm nostalgic for it already. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Simon from Saskatchewan says, I can't speak for all Canadians, but I'm not mad at you, Mike. You get a pass this time.
Oh, you got the hall pass from Canadians.
Yeah, I get a pass because I didn't do anything wrong. That's what have you gone to a Cleveland AHL game yet? Teams called the Monsters. They're called the Lake Erie Monsters. Yeah, Jeff, we should do that. We
really should. Yep.
Yeah, we could probably get pretty decent tickets for that too. Make a real day out of it.
That would be great.
Yeah, all sorts of fun stuff to do in Cleveland. We could go to East 4th Street and go to Mabel's, all sorts of good times. We had a great time, our most recent Cleveland excursion before that Joe Hisaishi concert, hanging out in Ohio City, which is kind of the west side there, before we head over to the concert venue. Yeah, it was a good time. It's time for Saskatchewan, WTF, Drakenstein 3D. Oh, and Pack Go, Darkenstein 3D. What's Darkenstein 3D? Excuse me.
I don't know.
Drakenstein. Darkenstein. I feel like I've seen this now. Now I'm going to Google. Darkenstein 3D, a retro shooter inspired by Wolfenstein and Doom. How did I miss this? Yeah, this is okay, so somebody's made a new boomer shooter, and this one looks very Wolfenstein-y, but it's not like old-style graphics even. Huh. Okay. Almost kind of looks like Return to Castle Wolfenstein to me. Remember that one?
Was that the Raven one, or was that just Wolfenstein?
That wasn't even that was before the Raven one. That's the 2002 one.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who made that one. So interesting.
Yeah, we'll check this out. I like boomer shooters.
Simon is back. Says, heard of Sheep Raider for PS1 stealth puzzle game. Yes, this is a Looney Tunes game. It has like a different name in some categories. It's called like Wolf Sheep Dog or something. But yes, this game has a really good-looking art style that does a pretty good job of replicating Looney Tunes in the PS1 era. I often hear this referenced as a hidden gem for the consoles, so I'd love to play Sheep Raider sometime. It looks really neat. B. Mario says, I mean, it's one amiibo, Michael. What could it cost? $50? Wait a second. This is Chris Pratt. I can't change my name. Please help me figure this out. Oh, right. I think they changed the way this stuff works. That just shows your full name now. So, oh gosh, is this the end of Chris Pratt?
Oh, no, I sure hope not. Yeah. Well, sorry about that.
Figures it out. James Pye says, PSA, the SNES Switch controller works as an excellent D-pad option for Hollow Knight. Just had to do some button remapping. It's been a revelation. But something about playing Silksong on an SNES controller sounds super cool to me.
Yeah, you're a cool person, James Spies. That's awesome.
That is actually pretty freaking neat. I forget because but you do have to use all 4 shoulder buttons in that game, in my recollection. I think.
Yeah, but
I guess I don't.
I guess does the Super NES controller? I don't have that one for the Switch. Does that not have it? I mean, they said they did button remapping. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Next up is from Taco Belmont. Do you all have any favorite third-party controllers for Switch 2 or other platforms? I'm not a giant third-party controller, guys. I know a lot of people like that 8-bit Duo Ultimate a ton, though.
Yeah, that's what I have, and I love it. I use for other platforms, I use the first-party controllers, but for PC and for Switch, I'm using the 8-bit Duo Ultimate or occasionally the 8-bit Duo Pros, which are a little bit different.
Jason Fulton says, so I saw the video and I saw the screenshot, but could the two of you talk about the joy you felt in your hearts when the Virtual Boy reveal happened? I mean, it really was just, again, Nintendo can do anything. Doesn't mean they will do anything, but just seeing them doing something like acknowledge and release new Virtual Boy products, not just products, but ways to play Virtual Boy games in 2025, I could not believe it was happening. And then when they revealed the case that basically makes your Switch 2 a Virtual Boy, I'm like, oh my god, I actually cannot wait to do that. I was freaking out. I was super excited about it.
Yeah, it was like I could have seen them being like, hey, we're celebrating the Virtual Boy. Here's some Virtual Boy icons for your Switch 2 profile, your Nintendo Switch Online profile. The fact that they went all out and built a way to play Virtual Boy games and are forcing you to use their insert things to actually access those games, it's crazy, and I like how crazy it is. So yes, I was legitimately flabbergasted and excited.
Dubious Food says Cran.
What is this, Jeff?
If you listen carefully, you can hear the littlest bit of that.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, kind of like it sounds like, honestly, it's crayon French. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, crayon.
Crayon.
There you go. Chrono Rick says, hey, dogs, love the direct, but my favorite reaction is Jeff almost dying from the Virtual Boy announcement, and then Dan insisting to make fun of a kid. You're the one who still put the video in. We didn't have to listen to him, Jeff.
Well, I was like, okay, well, it sounds like we're just gonna check this out. I didn't realize what it was. I was like, is this gonna be at least actually annoying? It was so just milquetoast fine, and Dan couldn't handle it.
Dan, oh god, I wish I could see Dan have to raise a child. Can you imagine?
Right? Put him in just a room with glass walls so we could all just watch. That would be a Truman Show right there.
It would be good. Because he's one of those. Well, I'll just treat them like adults and they'll understand that types. I think. Well, he doesn't understand.
He doesn't.
Yeah. Mikey O'Leary says Nature's Valley will have its revenge. I was back when I was choking on a granola bar. Not Nature's Valley. It's called Sunbelt or something. I don't know. They make just a normal gram one. I'll have to see. I don't even know if they're that widespread, but I like them. Again, very soft, very chewy.
He gets them from someone behind the 7-Eleven. They're just selling them out of the back of their trunk.
You see, speaking of 7-Eleven, you see they want to make ours more like the Japanese ones that everybody likes.
I've been saying that for a few months now, and I'm trying not to get my hopes up because, boy, that would be awesome.
All right, next up here is from Randy Romero, which is a combination of Ayn Rand and John Romero. I like it. With Amiibo support and Sakurai involved, is Kirby Air Riders the new crossover game? Can Mario and Samus on her bike be announced at the next 45-minute Air Riders Direct? Boy, it's like, for some reason, Mario don't know, but I really like that idea of Samus being in that game. Now, the problem is, the way that game works, Samus just can't be on her bike. She would have to be able to ride everything. So are they going to put Samus on one of those silly star things? I don't know.
Are they going to put Kirby on the bike? Yeah,
I bet it's not a crossover game. I bet it's just Kirby characters.
There might be one thing in there, but nothing crazy.
It would be like Lolo, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like
right. Okay.
Which I guess is already a Kirby character. Or Starfy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. All right.
Hamtaro.
Hamtaro. Yeah, that'd be good. My favorite Nintendo character. Oh, Greg says, I like this. Prepare yourself for this one. What if Backlar has to react to the second Kirby Air Riders Direct by himself? Dan can be there, but he can only drink 9 Buzz Balls in silence.
Jan wouldn't die from that. I don't think he'd be fine.
No.
Yeah,
I would.
This would be an incredible. This would be a work of art. This could be our Emmy.
I get excited for that. Yeah, they did say there's going to be a second Nintendo Direct just for Kirby Air Riders. We already had a pretty long one about that game, and I was into it. I'll watch this. I bet I'll enjoy it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, surely we could just figure out some of this stuff when the game comes out. But I wonder.
That was crazy.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was bananas that they announced this thing. Go ahead.
I wonder if they were like, boy, a lot of people watch that Direct. This is basically the best kind of marketing we could possibly do for this video game. Let's just do it again.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to watch it, or at least Bacalar is, so.
Yeah. There you go. Next up is Dubious Food. It says, Virtual Boy headset alone with no other pieces going for over $200 on eBay. Mario getting my $100. W for Jeff here. So, yeah, look, it's better than having to buy an actual Virtual Boy. What was the retail price of the Virtual Boy?
It was like $179, $129. It was like some weird number.
I want to say
like
180. 180 is right,
Okay.
equivalent to $370 in 2024, apparently. So that's fun. And next up here is from Antonioni. It says Virtual Boy remake is a great response to everyone saying post Iwata Nintendo/Switch 2 is too safe. Yeah, there's definitely that part of I heard all these people like, where's Weird Nintendo at? Then they get Weird Nintendo and you're mad. Well, yeah, there it sits.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do my Captain Picard measurement here. There it sits. So what? Yeah, it's weird.
Say
Do you like it? We never say you're gonna like it.
Right. There's also the Weird Nintendo that's patenting through summoning stuff. So don't worry, they're weird all over the place.
So there you go. Greg says, isn't Tampa the closest football city to Disney World? Just saying, Mike has an out to root for a team that will get more than 5 wins this year. I think, no. What's closer, Tampa or Miami? Because
I don't know. I don't know.
I guess I should. I know people in Orlando should be like, hey, what is like the popular football team there? I bet Tampa Bay does come up.
Yeah, but I bet it's Tampa.
Well, there's Jacksonville fans also. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Zacy says, I hate BioWater. I hate BioWater. So this is kind of, in my opinion, the toughest section in Silksong so far for me. So, I'll let other people enjoy the discovery and exploration of that on their own. But yep, you will learn to fear the name BioWater.
Yeah,
I believe
it's not necessary for the first set of credits, right? I mean, you could sort of just skip it.
I did it after I got the normal ending for sure.
Yeah, I did most of it. I don't think I did that boss fight you were talking about, so maybe I've not done the real BioWater yet.
Now, next up is CJ. Nintendo next patents the ability to jump in a game. Yeah, we had talked about this a lot here, but it's happened to us where we talked about us where Nintendo has patented the ability to summon characters, and it's like more specific than that. They try to tie it into Pokemon, like summon characters from they say from a ball or how, but it's an insane thing to try to patent. It's absolutely wild. A lot of people are talking about this and wonder if they're going to really get away with this or they're going to possibly do anything. But it is just another weird. I will sometimes defend the pricing on Nintendo unfavorably, Jeff and I, right? But I will never defend their bizarrely overzealous lawyers. It's really strange.
Yep, it's definitely the kind of thing where it's like they are overreacting to Pal World, and a bunch of weird stuff is happening because of it.
Next up is Burrito. Guys, I just got my 2 Giant Bomb shirts, Blight Club, and we bought a bomb in the mail. Beautiful art design on both. Super excited to wear these. Cheers. Thank you, Burrito.
Yeah, we're
Appreciate
happy.
you going to store.giantbomb.com and getting those. I know that the Silksong sale is over. You can still get your Spoon Heaven shirt, everybody. It looks just as good. But yes, Blight Club, we bought a bomb. Also fantastic. We're working on some new stuff as well for the store, but don't wait. Plenty of goodies right now. Not much. You shut. That's not what I meant. You shut the hell up. You go to hell. Chris Son. This is Chris Son. I can't tell Chris Pratt. I can't say who will voice Rosalinda. But let's just say I've always wanted to visit Sydney, Australia, and I know the CEO of Unity is Sweeney. It'd be so unhinged if it was Sydney Sweeney.
I would like to see it. I think that'd be fun. Also, the CEO of Unity is Sweeney, huh? Okay.
Oh,
Good job,
I have a new prediction. Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, I could see it. Jenna Ortega seems a little bit more Daisy to me. There was no Daisy in there, right? Yeah, no.
Maybe not Daisy, but like I think they're gonna play Rosalina kind of like withdrawn and emo.
Oh,
Or,
okay.
even a little gothy.
Oh, well then there's only one of those in Hollywood, and it's Jenny Ortega.
You know that.
Yeah.
You get it.
Head goth in charge.
Bander SN says, so did they put Hyrule Warriors in the spot Prime 4 was meant to go? They kept saying winter, but it's out in November, which is not winter law. But you know what? I kind of forgot about that. They were saying winter a lot for Hyrule Warriors, and November ain't winter. I didn't think about that till just now.
Yeah, it's not even like the meteorological winter that starts December 1st. That's way before that. Over at what was it, the people that used to work at Nintendo, Kit and Krista, they said that Nintendo likes to use winter so they could have a wide window of when they could release it, because they could release it sometime in December or sometime in early in 2026, and that gives them a lot of freedom. Apparently, it's so much so they can just release it in November instead. So yeah, weird, strange.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if they like pushed it up, but they definitely went as early on that one as they possibly could. I'm never been too interested in the Hyrule Warrior games. I didn't play a moment of Age of Calamity. Are you a little curious about this one?
Yes, I am. Just because it looked like it ran so well that it's like, man, now that kind of looks like it kicks ass. And there's a lot of cool Zelda stuff in here. This might be one that I check out actually. Now there are so many games, and I'm gonna still be catching up stuff in November. So this feels like maybe an early 2026 game that I actually look into.
Up is from Passel of Hogs 420. Mike, any interest in the Trolls in the Sky first chapter now that it has an 80 and Open Critic with 5 reviews? Also, boy, the Fire Emblem trailer is great. Ditto is a freak. I mean, yes, it's, look at that. That's 5 reviews there right now. There is a thing of like, boy, we're going to find time for a big JRPG at the moment. This is a big remake, but I'm a little bit like, and one I already played.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I should check it out. Especially, I feel a little bit of pressure of being the JRPG guy at Giant Bomb. This is kind of, one of the big ones we're getting. So I should at least check this thing out enough to be able to do, say, a quick look or something like that. This thing officially comes out on Friday the 19th. So I will check it out. It was that trailer with the English voice acting that did throw me off, because I like that game a lot. I have an idea in my head of what those characters sound like, and it wasn't what I was hearing. It really did kind of throw me off on that. So
right.
I can get over it, though. I can get over it, figure it out. But yeah, I'm glad people seem to be enjoying it. Again, that original version of that game is fantastic.
Yeah, people seem very, very high on this one. I'll be interested to see like where the score ends up like settling in once more reviews come in. But 88's a really good start.
Judd Carson in chat, hello, says they're playing it for review right now, and it's good.
Okay, cool. Hi, John.
I believe. Oh, Audrey Plaza as Rosalina. Okay, there we go. I kind of like that.
That would be fun. That'd be good.
That's it for the Super Chats for now. Thank you so much, everybody. If you still want to send one in, we will read it before the end of the show today. I promise. But right now, we are going to get ready for our Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures. We're going to take a quick break and get that set up. See you all real soon. Oh, we're back. I missed the Super Chat real quick there, so sorry about that. Simon from Saskatchewan. So let me read this one real quick, then we'll get to that Mount Rushmore. Sorry if you answered this before, but I'm new to Dragon Quest. Mike, why is 7 weird? I only played 11, but have 3, and we'll get to 1 and 2 for we'll get to 1 and 2, 4 through 6 on Switch 2. Because first off, yeah, so 4 was also a 8-bit game. 5 and 6 were the 2 Super Famicom ones. I bet all 3 of those eventually get the similar HD 2D treatment, especially 4. But 4 is really well liked. 5 is very beloved. It's one of my favorite ones. That's the one that had the monster training that inspired Pokemon. 6 is like not one of the favorite ones, but if you do 5, they'll probably do 6 as well. So the thing with 7, it's weird in a lot of ways. Dragon Quest 7, first off, is the only one that came out in the PlayStation era. It was 5 years between Dragon Quest 7 and Dragon Quest 6 on the Super Famicom, which back then was a very long time. It was also a late PlayStation game. So you had like Final Fantasy really popping off, and this is when they're separate companies, like crazy on the PlayStation. So then we finally get Dragon Quest 7 and in 2000 in Japan, late 2001 in America. And first off, it's still actually a 2D game with sprites, right? It's sprites on 3D backgrounds, but for a lot of people, it doesn't look as good as Final Fantasy. And then the structure of it is just a little weird. Like, you spend the first 4 or 5 hours of that game basically solving puzzles. And then from there, there's this kind of weird format of having to collect these map pieces, and that's how you create the places you can go to. And sometimes it's difficult doing that. And the whole game is just paced in a way that it's like a 100-hour-long game. And we have a good amount of those these days. Back then, pretty much every JRPG was 30 hours long, if that. That was wild for this game. In a lot of ways, it still plays like the other Dragon Quest games that are like 20 to 30 hours long. This one is just 100 hours long. So it has a bit of reputation for weird pacing. When they remade it for the 3DS, they tightened that up a bit, especially the stuff in the beginning, and did some other quality of life stuff. So maybe it's more like an 80-hour game. Still feels pretty long for what the game is. And now this one, they're talking about making it even pacier, is what they're saying. So there you go. That's the history lesson there. No, there's a lot to like about Dragon Quest VII. It's still a Dragon Quest game. It's one of the ones that has a job system. So if you liked that job system from Dragon Quest III HD 2D, it has something similar to that here. Shut up! I have played Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I just didn't finish it. Probably played more of it than Dan, who's a lying audio listeners. I've been given a subtitle here on the live video feed. So, anyways, that's your history lesson on Dragon Quest VII and why its reputation is a smidge weird, and why I was a little surprised that this is the next one to get a remake ahead of 9, which has never had a remake, or even just talking about 4 or 5 or what have you. So yeah, there it is. That's the situation with Dragon Quest VII.
Cool. All right, then let's do the game. I have it set up and ready to go over here. We just have a Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures, Mike. What are we doing here?
Yeah, so, Virtual Boy, we're talking about that, which I think we like, but it was a failure. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about the most prolific of Nintendo's failures. Not like the ones that are the best. We don't even know what that means. We'll kind of figure it out. What are just the Mount Rushmore of them? So I think this will be a fun thing to go through.
Yeah.
Hardware, it was,
it's a new
at a
platform,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, it was at a time when Nintendo felt a bit more invincible, and that was kind of crumbling down around them. They suddenly had competition from Sega, and now they had a piece of hardware that just failed to make any kind of a dent. So yeah, I think that would be a big one.
I'm not seeing any F's in chat. I just got a warning that we reconnected to OBS. I think we're okay, so maybe I'm just being a little paranoid here, but it looks like we're good. Okay.
Stream looks good. I think we're fine.
All right, so yes, Virtual Boy, yeah, all the things you said, high profile, anticipated, new platform, position as the successor to the Game Boy, immediately failed, only has worldwide under 30 games, I want to say. Maybe it's more than that, but it's not much more than that. It is an infamous failure. All right, so then where do we go from there, Mike?
All right. I guess, do we talk about the other probably console failure, which compared to the Virtual Boy looks like a smash hit.
Yes.
But the Wii U.
The Wii U. I mean, the thing that you compare it to there really, though, is the Wii. It has that in the name. And this, sir, is no Wii. It is very far away from those numbers and that kind of success, and really the opposite in every way that mattered to Nintendo. It forced them to have a reckoning with how they were doing things and having to change things up. And the company was kind of never the same after that in terms of hey, we are going to take our studios. We're no longer doing handheld and a home console. We got to bring everything together because we got to focus our development. And it got us the Switch eventually, but man, the Wii U missed the mark by a lot for most people, even though it had quite a few good games.
Yeah, there are other consoles that didn't sell like they hoped, right? Even the 64, definitely the GameCube. Even the GameCube, it had a full lifespan, right? Its successor came out exactly when it would have otherwise. It was definitely a reaction to what the GameCube was with the Wii, but there's still 5 years of GameCube. They had to kind of fast track the next Nintendo system because of the Wii U just not finding an audience whatsoever. Even though there are things to like about the Wii U, but also it did have a good amount of problems. All right, Jeff, what would you consider for this?
Yeah, I want to get your opinion on this. Should I say something like Miitomo or Super Mario Brothers Run, or just Nintendo's mobile games? Is that too broad?
I kind of like the mobile initiative. I think is something worth considering because it's funny because that was it was sort of just part of the strategy when it's related to the Wii U. The Wii U failed, so they kind of spread their wings a bit. And we have all sorts of things going now. One of them, and maybe this is the one that's really going to actually be the winning ticket, is going into mobile games.
Yep.
And it seemed to make sense at the time. And they had they had Fire Emblem was a decent hit on there. But the fact that they did have a Mario game for mobile, an Animal Crossing game for mobile, and those two didn't really seem to make
Miitomo like kind of offsets Fire Emblem to a certain degree. It's like this thing was like weird and didn't really do anything.
God, I forgot about it. That was the first one.
It was the first thing they did, Their social network, and it was a Nintendo-ass social network. It was weird.
Right. Even there was a Mario Kart game for mobile, and I think people played it, but not like some giant mobile hit like you would maybe hope.
Right.
If Nintendo was going to make a Mario Kart game for mobile.
What was the original Nintendo game for mobile called? I can't remember now. I want to see if you can pull it out of your ass.
What? Not Miitomo?
No, the original game that was like also maybe a little bit of a strategy game. Someone in chat's gonna say.
Oh, the original one. Yes.
Dragalia Lost. There it is. Yes.
Dragalia. God, that's what you meant. Right. Dragalia Lost, which it's a Nintendo game because who was their partner when they were doing that? It just looks like one of their games.
Line. It was no, it's not Dotemu. It's I'm gonna break my brain.
Games.
What is it?
Games, wasn't it?
No,
Games. No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Their publisher partner, not the developer.
Oh, Games might have made Dragalia Lost. That's true, but there is another team that
DNA. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it just kind of felt like what a normal DNA game would have been to me. Is what I was getting at there. But yeah, Dragalia Lost. I don't think there's gonna be any reference to that in the next Smash Brothers, right?
No, probably that'll be like 3 Smash Brothers from now. They'll bring back Dragalia Lost in there.
So apparently, it's just 100% Side Games joint. Yeah, I don't know much about Side Games.
The Side Games did Dragalia, yes, but yes, and then DNA was Nintendo's partner. We ended up talking about 2 different things there.
Yeah, fun how that happens. It was a confusing strategy that they had there, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it in no way did what Nintendo wanted it to do in terms of making money. Did it do the thing of what they wanted to do in terms of like raising the profile of the games associated with? I guess so, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like that really happened. Those games were doing better because the Switch existed, not because of the mobile games.
All right. Okay. How about the Nintendo 64 DD add-on?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go next. That's
this.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was a whole thing that was going to, it's just an add-on you can buy for the 64. It's going to take its own cartridges. It's going to, play its own software. It came out for Japan. There was a few things made for it, like, a suite of creative tools, including a 3D modeler thing. There's basically a successor to Nintendo Paint on it. There was a music-based one. There's a lot of games that were supposed to come out for this thing, like, what Majora's Mask kind of was in its earlier designs. There were some things like special F-Zero X levels that were just a part of this. It's always interesting to watch videos about this because they thought this was going to be a big thing to kind of extend the life of the 64 and help it become more popular by playing higher end games, more premium games, one could say. And didn't find an audience in Japan, never even came out in the US. And it flopped so hard.
And I was someone so entrenched in Nintendo news at that time that I was reading about the 64 DD every day. God, one of the main reasons I think I got online when my parents were getting America Online, I was like, yeah, we should do that. We should get the internet. Was probably so I could read about this thing and see when it was going to come out and the promises involved with it. Like, so we're using a rewritable disc media, so we can do something like you could set something down in a 3D world and the game will write the location of that thing and you could come back a year later and it will still be there. And I was just like, whoa, what?
Can you imagine? Right. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
And none of that stuff really ever took place. And then a handful of weird games in Japan. And it's weird because it's like it didn't even really get a chance to fail here, but it was just because it was such a big failure in Japan. And like this thing, it's not people are like comparing it to the 32X. It was like the disc drive for the NES in Japan, the Famicom Disc-Kun thing. And that worked.
People liked that over there.
Yeah, because you could get cheaper games and you could get these rewritable discs and go to these kiosks and get Zelda for way cheaper than it would be on a cartridge in the United States. Like, that was a cool idea and it worked in Japan. It was a small enough country to really operate something like that. And really, it was just the N64 and CDs and all that stuff. And honestly, maybe that could be something we could put up here, Mike. Cartridges on N64, would that fit into this category?
Yeah, kind of I think so. I don't know if it almost doesn't it doesn't have the juice that 64 DD does, but maybe.
Yes.
I still love, you look at the bottom of your Nintendo 64 right now and you will see where the ports are.
Extension
this thing
port,
was always designed to sit on top of that DD. In fact, I like the way the 64 looks on the DD. I'm like, that looks like a system there, man.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot going on there.
Without it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Cartridges for N64, that was a gamble for them, and they were like, nah, CDs actually suck. It has to load. No one's going to care. And they kind of, missed the pluses or downplayed them of, much more storage and being able to store multimedia much better on those things, and that they were cheaper to produce. So they definitely bet on the wrong horse there. Famously, it's what helped them lose Final Fantasy at a time when Final Fantasy was about to blow up in a big way in the West. But yeah, so much of what helped make the PlayStation popular was that presentation stuff that they got out of the CD-ROM format. Even though some games like Resident Evil 2 managed to look pretty good and have a lot of stuff without cartridges, but then other games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, you didn't have as much of the music. There's a lot of games that have video sequences in the PlayStation version, and then the 64 version, it is a slideshow of pictures and subtitles, right? Yeah, it just makes the 64 look so much worse every time you see that comparison.
Yeah, what is it? Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, right? That they had and kind of low quality JPEGs too. It was rough.
Right, and there were lots of games that did a similar thing like that, so it was always rough. Okay, so here's one, because here's one that didn't even come out. But what about the vitality sensor?
Yeah, that's the next obvious thing too. I mean, I think it's fair for us to call that a failure, right? These false starts, these promises made that aren't followed up on. For the purposes of this Mount Rushmore, it is recognizable and emblematic of a certain kind of thing that Nintendo does, where it's maybe talk up some weird new technology and either it comes out and goes nowhere, or kind of similar to probably how a lot of people feel about Alarmo. I like Alarmo. I know you do too. But Vitality Sensor is the worst version of that. A weird aside that never amounts to anything at all because it doesn't even come out.
Yeah, well, but imagine Alarma was their one last thing at a Nintendo Direct, right? Because this closed an E3 press conference for them. They thought that this was a very big deal. And for people who don't know, this was just a heart rate monitor that connected to your video game. So that supposedly, the games knew if you were tense or something. We see people on Twitch wearing heart rate monitors and showing that data on there. So there was maybe something to this idea. But we basically never heard about this thing again after that first reveal. So I don't know how they went from this is our closer to we're not even going to release this product in a pretty short amount of time.
And it was definitely when they were a little bit lost in the woods, right? Where they didn't know what they were going to do with the Wii U, and they were still figuring out the successor, and they were kind of at a low point. And Vitality Sensor definitely felt who knows, maybe we'll become a health company. It's wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, because Wii Fit was a big hit.
Yep.
Maybe that's our new direction.
Yep, exactly. Now you could tell that it was them being a little bit desperate. It was a desperate move. All right, Mike, I've already in white text written down the next one here. You talking about E3 presentations reminded me of this. Why don't you go ahead and say what you think it is?
I think it's Wii Music.
Mike, it's Wii Music.
Yeah, let's go.
Wii Music I wrote here, apparently. Wii Music. Boy, that is a game that's had everything going for it in terms of Wii Sports really took over the world, and music's even more popular than sports. Well, this is Miyamoto's game, and he seems to love it, and he got this guy to play drums. Wait, what's happening here? What is this game? And apparently it's just this game. I've still never played it. When I heard someone explain it, it's music playing in the background, and not they take a certain track out. They just sort of put a cover over a certain sound if you don't play it right, and that's the bulk of the interaction there. And it's oh, that sounds rough.
It was a time where games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band were very popular, so rhythm games were a thing, and they did not make a rhythm game. It sounds like they made kind of a music-based toy. But I think it highlighted so much of the false promises of the Wii and what it could really actually do Turns out it's not very good at making it like you're playing on drums or you're playing a flute or you're conducting a band or whatever it is. It's actually not that impressive of a technology. Yeah, the thing barely looked like a video game. At that point, just the Wii branding was so strong because the Wii itself was a big hit. Wii Sports was huge. Even Wii Play sold like crazy. So it just seemed like, of course, Wii Music. Gonna be a big deal. Miyamoto is attaching himself to it. That meant something back then. It still means something. And yeah, this game just got absolutely zero traction. Nobody was into it.
Yeah, it was a legitimate failure, kind of on every level, creative and commercial.
All right, Jeff. I guess my turn. I'm trying to think. Do we do the PlayStation? is the Nintendo PlayStation one of their failures? Kind of a failure of corporate, a failure of
vision, yeah,
of vision. Because I mean, it goes. There's a direct line from that to Link the Faces of Evil on CDI, even, which I don't know if that's a separate thing or it's just kind of all part of this mess of them, not knowing what to do about the CD format when they first saw it.
Yeah, maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the real one for cartridges for N64 too. Is like it goes back to this original sin of betraying Sony. Now, the deal they had with Sony was bad, but the way that they handled it, the way that they just created an eternal enemy on that day, where they betrayed them and said, "We're going with Panasonic, your mortal enemy, Sony," instead. It was Panasonic, right? It was like, yeah, what are you thinking? And then you didn't even want to make a CD system because you didn't want to have to license the format or whatever or deal with Sony. It was just a boneheaded move, one right after another, that all stemmed from this decision to screw over Sony.
I think it was supposed to be Panasonic, and then that didn't even happen because it was never an add-on for the SNES.
No.
Instead, it was just the Philips CDI, and because of weird legal language, they had the rights to have Zelda and Mario games, so you get Mario Hotel. I think it's incredible to see them finally embrace the Virtual Boy. I bet we're still a ways away from them acknowledging those CDI games.
Yep, yeah, I hope it's not too far away. Let those show up in Smash at least. All right, so I've written the Nintendo PlayStation here, and I do think that encompasses a lot of these ideas for sure. All right, God, I'm trying to
look at what the community thinks at this point.
That's a good idea. Let's do that. All right, let's hop over
there. I think we got some big ones.
Was thinking about this one, but I wasn't sure if it was a high-profile enough thing. Because it's like, a bad spin-off game is a tale as old as time in video games, and even from Nintendo. So Germ's saying Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I think it's close. What do you think?
For off, it already has so much going against because this is a Wii U game on top of everything else, right?
It was the Wii U Animal Crossing, basically, which not a real Animal Crossing.
Part of the thing here is like, well, what was the ceiling for this thing anyways, right? Even in ideal situations. But yeah, it definitely seemed like nobody cared about Amiibo Festival. Definitely a low point for Nintendo. So we don't have, so far the only, the only game we have on ours is Wii Music. Is that right? Or was there another straight up
I think that's right. Let's take, I can go back over here real quick. That is the only game.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see another game that will be worth considering here. Maybe it's Amiibo Festival. Maybe we'll see something else.
Okay, let's pin Amiibo Festival as the game right now that we would add. Let's see if there's anything worse. Joy Z says Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. It makes the game worse than more than it makes the game better. I know some people feel that way, but
yeah, I have to say I didn't know about this sentiment even until Joy Z has brought it up. I don't know. I don't know if I could go back to the 64 version. I never got very far in the 64 version, and this version I liked quite a bit. I think they explained what it is. It's just something about the movement speed or something. But also the game. So look, you use the Nintendo Selects box art version of the game right there, Joy Z. Checkmate. So,
Domino Crossing says Metroid Prime Federation Force.
I
think that's worse than Amiibo Festival.
I think that is worse because they're like, oh, how can we make Metroid appeal to more people? What if we made it worse and stupid?
And just like it's gonna be one game, and then let's just slap Metroid on it, which they've done for other stuff before. But here it's like you can tell, it's clear that this had nothing to do with Metroid.
I just fucking hate looking at these freaking what were the edgy Legos called again?
Oh, Bionicle.
They look like bad bionic characters on this thing. They're like they aren't just color coded. They are worse than Ninja Turtles color coded.
Right.
As if like this is a game for 6-year-olds, but it's Metroid. What are you talking about?
Right, like, his name is Michelangelo, not the orange one. And here it looked like this one's name would be the blue one and the green one. Like, it's so stupid. Allie Miracle says Star Fox Zero. I don't want to get shot by Sean, so we can't say that.
Like Star Fox Zero. I'll tell you what. It definitely was a failure. Like, there's a point. That game, and they were promoting that one. They like made a cartoon for it. It came out with another game.
It did kind of the Star Fox series. This is the one that made them go like, oh shit, we don't know what we're doing with this.
It's just still the last Star Fox game we got. Yeah, it's kind of killed the series for a while. At a time where everything else has gotten something on Switch or Switch 2. So I like this game personally. Definitely was a failure, for sure.
Don't back down, Mike. Don't cave. This was a late Wii U game. They sent it out to fail. The game is good.
I only ever played this at E3, and that was not the best environment to experience this game, where you kind of have to like learn to play Star Fox in a slightly different way. I need to try it again. I might emulate it and see what. Everyone's crazy. They all think that you need to do all the gamepad gimmicks. You don't. You simply don't. The lady from Triple Point at E3 was telling me I did need to do it, Sean. So. Input name here says the Nintendo PlayStation. The Uncharted Wolf 5 says sticking with cartridges instead of CDs, scaring away third parties for a long time. Leica Dylan says, Mike telling us how many cat shines were in Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Okay, you've all recently seen how much worse it can get in terms of people breaking review embargoes. You think there's no chance that I'm somehow not in Nintendo jail because I'm not a games? I still never understood if I was at Nintendo jail or GamesBeat. I guess that's my question: is if GamesBeat's access improved? Because I bet it hasn't. No, I think they just do both.
I think yes, exactly, and you just go on a list, the name and the website, and someone in Kyoto forgot why they even put you there, but they see you're on the list, so fuck you. First Cross Adventure says not putting Samus Returns on the Switch and only the 3DS. Yeah, I do wish they would put out a lot of those 3DS games on Switch, including this one. Always Be Clothing / Corgi does say, wait, is this Miitomo? Which one is this?
What? That's right.
Wait, this has got to be Tomodachi Life, right? Like all hail.
Yeah, all hail the virtual. I remember this.
So I think we're just talking about the Virtual Boy here. Matt says the Vitality Sensor. Villain Mac says, is this the original 3DS launch? That was a bit of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, the launch was a disaster. Came out too expensive at $250. Now, they say themselves there. They just immediately slashed the price down to, I believe, $180, and then the thing just started selling fine. It started getting better games. This is my first E3. I remember all these ladies with the 3DSs tied to their waists, and that's the first time I played a 3DS. I was waiting in the proper line, and then some lady with a 3DS tied to her waist came up to me and said, "Do you want to look at this 3D picture of Mario?" I was like, "Yes, please."
Yes, I do. How did you know?
How did you know? And
you could tell just by looking at me. That's what I want to do. All right.
As somebody who loved the 3DS, even that first impression of it, I thought it was the sickest thing. I loved the 3DS. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one because the story here is Nintendo made the right moves to save a system that eventually went on to sell something like 80 million units, which is a lot. Like, I know it's not DS numbers, but in a post-iPhone world, still selling 80 million units of a handheld console couldn't be anyone else, and that's like twice as much as like a GameCube. It's more than twice as much as that. So it was a very successful system in the end and made a lot of money for them.
You also the video of the 3DS ladies coming to Giant Bomb, right? What, did you get them on the couch? What the heck is that?
They just showed up, all of them, like an army of women.
They sent them.
This is every time I go to giantbomb.com, it is in my like, hey, continue this video, because I watch it every once in a while because it's so unhinged.
Yeah.
And so I see it every time on my homepage. I'll share the link with you, or someone will probably put it in chat.
How many of them do you think you can find who would do a 3DS ladies reunion or something?
I bet you can find a fair number of them, because they're all like probably based in LA and San Francisco or whatever. So you could at least find the ones that were like going to places in LA. I bet They probably have public
Yeah,
profiles.
look at this. This video is unhinged. God, the 3DS ladies. Yeah, they're just there. Oh boy, best bet you missed that relationship with Nintendo.
Caleb L says the Wii U. Yep, definitely. Darachi says, "Oh yes, codename Steam." Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a bad game. I think more than anything.
And low risk on that one as well, I imagine.
Right. Yeah, here it is from Jamie H. Christmas Eve, who says the launch price of the 3DS. Like I'm like maybe willing to like entertain that, but I don't know. It's
maybe, but again, I don't think there's any way it makes it right.
Right, because it's like none of all these other ones they didn't fix, and they were just, or well, at least not with the Virtual Boy, at least not until now. They fixed it at this point, for as far as I'm concerned. Ravi Drums from Screaming Madden, Bander SN says not saving Alpha Dream, letting Alpha Dream sort of crumble. After like apparently Nintendo forcing them into situations where they were remaking games late in the 3DS, and it's like, yeah, that killed them. That was you, Nintendo. Blazing Noah says Wii U. Chris 2K says discontinuing Miiverse. Hey, I'm with you. Johnny Boy says happening during the Wii U era. Just made sure nobody was talking about Nintendo. Oh, right, yeah, the Nintendo Creators Program, which was this thing where you had to like. Nintendo would like take all your YouTube money unless you partnered with them, and then they took most of your YouTube money and gave you some of it, which was a crazy fucking thing that they did.
So freaking weird. Nintendo's always done weird.
I know
shit.
people are like,
even the Wii U era,
where
it's like, you don't have a leg to stand on, Nintendo. What are you doing? And they're like, well, we're still gonna be fuckos. Sorry.
Yeah, that's like when people say like Nintendo's lost their way or they've changed. It's like, no, you just weren't paying attention always. The Nintendo Creators Program is definitely a bad decision, Mount Rushmore of weird Nintendo decisions, things I hated. It wasn't some failure. I guess they aren't doing it anymore.
It was a failure, but not one that cost Nintendo themselves much. It screwed over content creators for sure.
It was dumb. Ska Luigi's Skankin 3 says allowing RZ to make games like Yoshi's New Island and Hey Pikmin for them. I'm sorry, Arzest. Yes, not.
How dare you? You know I love Arzest.
I do too. Yeah, listen, I'm sorry. Warden Cliff says Radar Scope. That was just a legitimate huge failure. But then they also turned that one around and just turned it into Donkey Kong. So, turned those cabs into Donkey Kong cabs. Nolan says Wii Music. Two-time champ Beefhammer says 64DD. Man, something like half of Nintendo first-party games had 64DD versions in development. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they were like all gung-ho about that, and I was like, oh, never mind. So all sorts of games just kind of released without it, and they kind of make do with base Nintendo 64 specs.
James Pye says Labo. Golden Wonder World says Link's crossbow training. Was that a failure? I remember people kind of liking that game. I don't know.
I bet that game sold pretty well
for
what it is.
I've never played it. I kind of want to check it out. Jedi Moss 4 says the voice chat app for Switch 1. God, the Nintendo Switch app. It's kind of good now. Like,
it's not bad now, but at the time, I was indignant mad about that thing.
Me too.
What are you talking about?
Yes. God, we like tried it a couple times and we're just like insulted by how bad it was. Spiky says Miitomo. We talked about that. Oh, here, everybody's 1-2 Switch. From Lenny Cool Dick Denver.
Yeah, they set that thing out to die because they knew it was a failure before they even released it. God,
yes.
The existence of that game is wild to me.
Yeah, it's very strange that ever came out, but it did. I remember like that it was Imran reporting like they keep testing it and it sucks and they don't know what to do with it. I'm like, that's very funny. Just don't release it. And here it was. They did. Big Tony.
So we're not going to get Metroid Prime 2 remastered apparently, but everybody wants to Switch has to get out there.
I guess. Big Tony, the Final Fantasy guy, says the year of Luigi. How dare you?
Whoa.
That was a huge success. It really, I legitimately think the year of Luigi did a lot of good things for Luigi. I think it got it.
I think it helped a lot.
Yeah. I guess that means that this is the 40th year of Luigi, right? That was Mario Brothers. It was the anniversary for. So that would not have been this year. Michael Riley says spawned a sleeping giant. That's the Nintendo PlayStation. I'm not going through with that. Nintendogs says letting Microsoft buy Rare.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like they definitely had Rare's best days,
Yes.
right, over at Nintendo. So
And best decades. Like they were working on Nintendo stuff for like 2 decades straight, and then they weren't, and they didn't put out a lot of great stuff. Hey, Viva Pinata would have gone hard on a GameCube. Is that what? No, that would have been Wii. Oh, that would have been awesome on Wii. Actually, wouldn't look as good.
I've been a pretty good Wii game, actually. Yeah.
Keywork says my wallet after owning and keeping up with every amiibo, and Turbo Sean says the CDI Zeldas. CDI Zeldas are weird failures. Should we include those?
Well, I think it kind of is part of the thread of like bungling the CD thing.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Well, that's an all-encompassing sort of thing at this point.
It's kind of weird. Like, what is Nintendo's ownership with those games? They didn't make those games, right? They just basically had to let them make it. They had to give them a license, was all it is. They didn't want to, I'm sure.
I wonder if there's like
just legal needs.
I bet it you still have the rights, Phillips, to those games if you want to re-release them on the CDI, but you couldn't ever release them anywhere else, probably.
Aside from maybe the Virtual Boy, also the thing that I'm the happiest does exist.
Oh, yeah.
I'm infinitely fascinated by those Zelda games. Someday we have to play those on Blake Club. Like all three of us just get one.
Yep.
We pick out of a hat which one we get.
That's not bad.
That'd be amazing.
Okay, that's fine. I like
there's
that.
3 of them. There's 3 of us. And of course, nobody wants Zelda's Adventure, the top-down one. That's the one you don't want. So it'd be great.
I kind of want it.
No one brought us. Someone in the chat bring up Metroid Other M, which
I was thinking about it, but I mean, it's not a great game, but it's not some abomination. Like, I don't like playing it, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever experienced.
I think it's definitely a failure in terms of they thought this was going to help Metroid break through a little bit more, and it kind of had the opposite effect. People, it was kind of a downturn for them.
It has its fans, though.
Yeah. Oh, like Satellaview, which I did okay in Japan for a little bit, and then eventually fizzled out. I like watching videos about Satellaview.
Me too.
So
it's a cool thing.
All right. I think we do have 4 here, Jeff. A lot of people are reinforcing the ones that we brought up as I think kind of the ones that should be here. Want to get to it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's let me reframe this just so we can make it a little bit easier there.
I believe in you.
Okay, Mike. So we have Virtual Boy, Wii U, Nintendo's Mobile Games Strategy 64DD, cartridges for N64, Vitality Sensor, Wii Music, Nintendo PlayStation. Did we want to include any of those games that we talked about from the Discord Patreon supporters?
I mean, we could. I gotta be honest. I think the 4 are in this short list.
I think
right
so
now,
too.
Which again,
was
reinforced by a lot of what people are suggesting.
We could just kind of cut to the chase and pre-cut those by not including them in the first place. Okay, Virtual Boy is a lock, right? That's what inspired this thing. It's a lock.
It's a lock. Is Wii U a lock as well?
Yeah, right. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, we're like, God, that thing sold what is it? Like less than or around 15 million? Maybe not even.
Something. It's almost in some ways a worse failure than the Virtual Boy. Because the Virtual Boy was a third pillar, you know, so it didn't work out.
They knew it was a test. They knew it was like going out with the potential to not find an audience. I'm sure they weren't expecting it to not find an audience, but it's like they had other options there to them. Wii U was their big thing. And it has been outsold by Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. So, yeah.
Incredible. Just incredible.
Yeah, 13.5 million. That's bananas.
Yeah.
All right, so then that leaves 2 slots.
I think that Wii Music is the kind of representative of failed Nintendo games, right?
I agree. Yeah.
It was at a time when it seemed like, this kind of game does really well. I think we all thought it would be a big deal. It closed in E3, and just nobody cared. The game was a flop.
I think you do a family feud of people who are like have been plugged into Nintendo stuff and say, "Hey, name a Nintendo failure." Wii Music is in that top 5 for sure. It's iconic for being a failure. Well, then is the last one the Nintendo PlayStation, since it's encompassed so many of those other failures within it?
Yeah, I think there's so much about that was a failure. There's everyone's here that would be good. Vitality Sensor, 64DD cartridges, but the PlayStation is just so important. It's a good thing as a failure because it led to PlayStation, which was definitely a good thing for this industry.
Yep.
But it led to that. You get a line from that to them making cartridges for Nintendo 64. You have a line from that to weird Zelda games on the CDI and Mario games on the CDI. So many repercussions of them just bungling this entire deal in initiative to have Sony make a CD add-on or like a CD version of the Super Nintendo. So yeah, I think the Nintendo PlayStation is a big one.
Yep. All right. Then that means we have our Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures, Mike. You want to go ahead and read it for the people?
Yes, Mount Rushmore of Nintendo failures is Virtual Boy, Wii U, Wii Music. I'm shocked the word Wii is on this list choice. And Nintendo PlayStation. There you go, everyone.
Well, good work, Mike. Let's let you have the show back instead of me trying to host it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. We'll take a quick break. Got a few more super chats. We'll talk about what we've been playing. Although I think it's Silksong. We've talked about we'll say a little bit more there.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, everybody.
It's Silksong all the way down.
All right, we're back, everybody. Yeah, I've been playing tons and tons of Silksong. We recorded a quick look, which will be going up on Giant Bomb. So just being you hanging out, showing off a fresh save, and then taking a break. So if people don't want to see it, we jump to my more current save with all my abilities. But boy, just continuing to absolutely love it. It's just an absolutely amazing sense of place that they achieve in that game. Incredible movement abilities, superb boss design, a fun challenge to overcome. I think this game has lived up to the incredible amount of hype that was behind it.
Yeah, I've finished it, and I'm nowhere finished playing it. I am going to be spending a lot more time with it. About 30 hours in. I did a lot of stuff before I decided, all right, it's time to go face this boss. And that boss was not too challenging. That was kind of nice, actually, a little bit of break, because there had been several challenging ones that I had just faced, doing some stuff off to the side, and clearly they were like, let's amp this up since this is optional. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot more for me to do. But then I keep hearing things like third act, and I don't know what that means because I just beat this boss. So I'm like, what's going on here?
Either, actually.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was like kind of close, but maybe not. So yeah, the game is huge. And that was part of the appeal of the first Hollow Knight is that these Metroidvanias are often more like 8 hours, even less experiences. Yeah. They're kind of not the biggest games, and they're good about that. But here's one that found a way to be a 30, 40-hour game, 50-hour game, and feels very satisfying as that, actually. So yeah, just absolutely adoring it. It is interesting. There are people that are a little thrown off by it, difficulty or other reasons. I see some people because we were talking about how much we like a lot of it, and I lose when people are like, I don't get how they don't think this game has any problems. I don't know, I think there's subjective things. I would not change anything. I would not change anything about this game. Maybe there's a couple run backs that I thought were a bit much, but I'm on the other side of them. I'm not thinking about them much really anymore. So.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Where it's like, yeah, there are things that are frustrating and annoying in the moment, but if they are a problem, they will stick with me. And every single time when I've gotten on the other side, I was like, that was fun to get over. That was a fun thing to deal with. And now here I am standing on the other side of it. And it will be fun to me later when people are talking about being stuck there. And I'll be like, yeah, I was there once. You'll get over it just like I did. The problems with it, the only problem, occasionally I would be like, this fight is a little bit more about endurance than about execution. It's a little bit more HP for this boss than I would expect it to have. And I'm kind of doing a lot of the same patterns, and I've proven I could do these patterns now 20 times. What's another 5 times? But I don't know. It doesn't feel egregious ever to me, actually.
I think the endurance is a bit a part of the challenge because sometimes, you can feel yourself slipping. I mean, one of my biggest complaints with Bonanza, it was the opposite thing.
Yeah.
Like, the bosses had such little health that I would barely see a full pattern and they would die.
They'd be over in less than 30 seconds. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I like that about that. I saw what Dirk Digwood in chat says, doing the grind for the true ending, is it worth it? I like grinding. I don't consider that a grind. That is just playing the game. Absolutely, to me, is doing the stuff you need to do to get that. So, I wouldn't change anything. About it.
I mean, I know that Andy Cortez over at Kind of Funny was having a lot of problems with some of these bosses, talking about spinning. I think he's the one that was spinning 9 hours on a boss, or maybe that was Barrett. But now Andy's still playing. He said he was 60 hours in. So I'm like, yeah, I just think that this is the kind of game where, look, if you're ready for something that's a little bit more challenging. And then if you're not and you're still curious, get the PC version, turn on Cheat Engine, and have yourself a good time. Go play it that way.
Anything else you've been playing Nintendo Wii here? I think we're all kind of like looking at that Hades 2 approaching and thinking about getting ready for that bad boy.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's been all Silksong. I decided at a certain point, it's like, look, I have a ton of momentum. I want to get this game finished. I don't want to have it be another Clair Obscur that I sort of have like, a huge chunk in, and now another game come out, and I'm going to put that to the side. It's like, no, let's just get Silksong done, and then Hades 2, that announcement, the release date, September 25th, you're right, that is calling out to me. It's like, oh, that is imminent. Let's get Silksong done. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep playing that. But that game is, yeah, it's something special. It's so my shit, so much more my shit than I even realized it would be. And it's like the thing that with Hollow Knight, like kind of looking at the game originally and being like, I just don't, looking at it, I'm not sure. It's like, oh, I was just so wrong. And in motion, it's so good. And yes, and with all,
I tell you what, there's been, I think I mentioned before that it used to drive me crazy. Like, what do you mean you don't like Hollow Knight? This is just one of those games that you like a lot. Like, I don't know.
I like a lot.
It used to drive me crazy. Like, why don't you like Hollow Knight? I know you like these games. You'd be like, I don't know. So I am relieved. I am a bit relieved that you like this. Maybe someday you'll go back to Hollow Knight 1. I bet you would still like that a lot too.
Yep. Yes. Dan says he always loves
yeah, shout out to Dan. Shout out to Dan for putting everybody into the Hollow Knight. You're the best, Dan. Thank you.
Real one. You can always count on him for these kinds of things.
Jesus.
Sean did a very good job politely listening while we glazed this game up during the bombcast.
Yes, thank you, Sean, for not stopping us. I appreciate that.
Today, do you know how long that was?
Yeah, it seems like a while.
Almost half an hour.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good video game.
That's classic bombcast right there. That's good shit.
Hell yeah.
I think that it's I keep talking about, there's a point where I just got to one of those deep down areas and just like was looking around being like, this is astounding. I feel so cool, this little character in this big scary place, and yet it's just so enticing, and every direction I could go is calling to me. And I completely just vibed with it so hard in that moment. And it was like, yeah, this is one of my favorite gaming experiences ever.
Okay, we've got a few more super chats. Why don't we read these and then we'll start getting out of here. First up is from Hexprof. Dragon Quest should sue Pokemon for the summoning monsters. Yeah, again, Pokemon was clearly inspired by Dragon Quest V.
Yep. When
it did that. Elgrug says, if Mike played it, he'd pronounce Dana right, talking about Ys 8, the luminosity of Dana, whatever.
Lacrimosa, you heathen.
I wish Dan was here to help. He's the expert on that one. Someday I'll find out why Dan was playing.
You are never going to find out.
Like that game.
I legitimately
just like that game.
You should legitimately want you to be worried about this on your deathbed. I legitimately want it to be one of your last thoughts. Like, why was Dan playing Ys 8?
All right, if you like Ys, the same company, Dan, they released a game called Trails in the Sky FC. You should check it out. I think you'll like it a lot since you like that one so much.
That's when you say, I don't play nerd games. See, you just got to keep him on his toes. Keep him on his toes.
Yeah.
Sounds lame. He was already on it.
Next up is Postman Dan. Says, you all say Dana that way, and it's bad and wrong.
How are we supposed to say it?
Dana?
Is it not Donna?
Donna?
Because it's Japanese?
Donna.
But like in the game, everything's sort of more like
European,
Mediterranean, right? I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what's going on with Ys. Next up is Postman Dan. Says, the Year of Luigi. I hope they weren't implying that it was a failure. Do people really think the Year of Luigi is a failure? I mean, it was during the Wii U era, so of course it's not like it made $1 zillion. But I had fun. How could that be a failure?
And it became a meme, and it's like a real meme. Yeah. Like it was like really like a joke that everyone made that year of like the Year of Luigi. Like that, every news article brought that up and all unrelated stuff. It broke containment. It did well.
Simon from Saskatchewan says, best pickup line. Want to play Xenoblade on my Switch?
Did you see
this?
Have
you heard this line before? Genuine line from Days of Our Lives.
Did you see this?
Just well. No.
It's crazy. It's like the
word Xenoblade was said on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah. And he's like, this girl is at his like college dorm room and he's standing right outside of it. He's like, do you want to come in my room and play Xenoblade? And she's like, okay. and then they go in the room and play Xenoblade.
That's not a game you can play with other people. In fact, that's a game you should definitely never have anyone else in the room with you.
That's what the first tweet I saw about it, the skeet I saw about it, was this person being like, Xenoblade is a private and personal event. You do not do that with other people. It's like,
no, you don't want them to see, especially Xenoblade 2. No way.
That was a crazy thing to see.
Jedi Moss says, how do we feel about the Switch 2 launch period? Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Hyrule Warriors, Zelda, and Kirby upgrades, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon ZA is a solid lineup, in my opinion. I think it's been pretty good. I think Bonanza's been amazing. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be very good. There's, I think Mario Kart World didn't hit for people like they wanted. I think that has thrown some people off, for sure.
I wonder how the casuals feel about it.
Yeah, I've been playing my Switch 2 a ton, and having stuff like Silksong and Hades 2. Like those are Switch 2 games for me, man. So, and those are, I know Hades 2 is going to be amazing. People have basically already played it and said it's amazing. I doubt I'm going to somehow not like it. And Silksong is incredible. So, it has a lot to go up to with that first year for the Switch one, which was just Wild with Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Odyssey.
If you take that out of the equation, right? Like we're in a very different comparison where this compares favorably to just about every other console launch ever.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. I'm super into it. I think Spikey in chat says it. If you ignore prices, basically if you ignore some of the weird business stuff outside of getting a Switch 2 and playing the games, it's been sort of unassailable. It's been great. Now maybe it's a lot of familiarity or a lot of stuff that's maybe not the most exciting, but I'm happy with it. And these indie games hitting the Switch 2 right now, honestly, it feels like the 2017 for indie games this year. This feels like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey with Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong back.
Yeah, it's like if Breath of the Wild and Odyssey didn't just come out the same year. They came out the same month.
Same 2 weeks apart, yeah.
Sounds wild. Final Fantasy Tactics, Evil East Realms, I'm going to be playing that on my Switch 2, and I'm very excited for that. So, yeah, there's just ton to do. Patrick Ford says, I've realized my brain gives me the good stuff when I can feel skillful throughout, not bang my head for hours and finally win. But happy for y'all.
Oh, yeah, I get that. It's, I think I'm just the opposite. That's there's definitely a thing about a easier Metroidvania, one that does make you feel skillful throughout. It's still fun to just explore and find stuff, and get that sense of accomplishment there. But there's a reason Souls games work, and this is very much in that vein.
It reminds me specifically of even Sekiro, which you talk to a lot of people like me. It's that's one of the best games ever. And you're going to hear from just as many, maybe more people who are like, I bounced off it. It's just too much for me.
Right. So, why would I want this when I can go play a character action game that makes me feel cool the whole time? It's hey, no argument.
Right. It's I can't convince somebody that, no, actually, it's not that hard. Everybody has different things there. It's kind of where game criticism breaks down for me a bit, is when we talk about difficulty. And, maybe that's why there should just be more options for these things that wouldn't impact my enjoyment for it. But maybe it does do something, because the Dark Souls games do have this reputation, this giant fan base, and they don't do that stuff. Is it because of that stuff? I don't know, but developers, at least some developers, clearly seem to think that way.
Yeah.
Mikey O'Leary says, there is no Dana, there's only Lacrimosa. That's a Ghostbusters,
4 feet above the covers. That's right.
Hey. Postman Dan says, I play these games and I don't play nerd games. Okay. Is there a more nerd game series than Ys? As far as, unless it's turn-based. As far as non-turn-based games go, we're gonna Ys is real jock shit now all of a sudden. Yeah. I was on the TurboGrafx CD, you pieces of shit.
When you were playing your nerd shit, I was fucking the prom queen and playing Ys 8.
Samo Nice says, play 2D Metroid Brainia from Elechead Dev. It's an O with an umlaut, I believe that is, the 2 dots, and then 2 locusts.
We already talked about this game. It's how the character looks, the name.
Yeah, the name looks the way the character looks. So the O with the umlaut is the head with the antennas.
I remember seeing this before now. Yes. It's 2D game. Yeah, that's right. Overwhelmingly positive reviews right now, so people seem to like it quite a bit. I will add this demo to my library. Maybe I can check this out on a Mega Man or something and see what's going on here. So thank you. Samo. And that's it for the Super Chats. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Hey, was I supposed to read the Super Chats?
Oh, yeah.
I just realized just this second.
Yeah.
Huh.
I could. You know what it was? Because I read that one that we missed.
Oh, yeah.
No, wait, yeah, I
Wait,
read
no,
all of
you
them
read
today,
all of
didn't
them.
I?
Huh.
Oh,
Weird show.
huh.
We podcasted too many times today.
We've done a lot of podcasts. Hey, as far as mistakes go, I've been just on such a hosting kick today.
Yeah, that's
I
what
just
it
want you
is,
to
yeah.
take it easy, buddy. You know?
Thank you. You know, I kicked back on this one. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You work hard, dude. You take a breather. It's fine.
I'm just
It's
glad
fine.
someone noticed.
Yeah, no, wait, Zacy's right. Start over. Just scrap this. Do it again. Actually,
And stick to the script this time. Everyone,
Yeah.
it's going to sound familiar. We have a script. We write it all before.
Yeah.
It's going to sound the same.
I
yeah,
wrote
we have
it all.
ChatGPT do it, just like that Soda Pop song, right? Boy, it's been a while since we've been a 2-hour plus Nintendogs, but
Yeah, but
fun
listen,
to know.
Nintendo Directs will do that, right?
Yep. It was a fun one. I enjoyed hanging out, talking with you.
Likewise.
Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you to Sean and Christian as well. Thank you all for hanging out with us. JD Camp says, Mike, can we get your Creole accent? I'm just trying to. What? I want to do Gambit. No, I want to do Leatherhead. What is Leatherhead's thing he always says? I guarantee. Oh, I'm gonna get them to those. I guarantee. That's what he says.
I always just think about Gambit from the cartoon where he goes, "Things don't get much better than Gambit," and it was that's something me and Steph always say to each other all the time. We like that a lot. That's good stuff.
I could go for some Cajun or Creole food right now.
Oh
That
yeah,
sounds, pretty
always.
good.
But only if I can get it at Disney, and I'm not even joking.
Yeah. Next up, tomorrow, White Club continues. More virtual highlight. We're doing plenty of more fun stuff. We're gonna check out skates. We're gonna check out
Mikey,
that
that's what
Lego
Gambit
co-op.
sounds like on that show.
What do you want?
Bye,
Can't get
everybody.
mad at Jeff, not me. I did a good Leatherhead. I guarantee. He always says I guarantee. I like it. Guys of Arcadia this week. Arcadia, isn't that kind of a Cajun word?
Arcade, yeah, oh, kinda, yeah. I'm trying to fix it, everybody. I'll see what I can do.
The Arcadians? That's a thing, right? Aren't they descended from the Arcadians? Am I making this up? Who are the Arcadians? Who are the Arcadians? Arcadians.
Grok, what's an Arcadian?
That's Greek.
Fuck that raw ditto.
Boy pussy.
What a terrible show we do.